All right, you are now live, it says. Thought I
Good
was
morning, world.
before. All right, let's see. Oh, good morning, Sensei John, sitting there waiting on us. Sorry, I know we were like 2 minutes late. We were having a conversation offline. I forgot to click the button. So,
Sorry.
happy Monday. Welcome to episode, what are we up to? 207 or something like that.
207.
207. We are on second season here. Hold on, let me pop this up. There we go. Episode 207. The Littlest Ninjaz. Not to be confused with the Little Ninjas program, but we are just talking very literally about the littlest ninjas in our school today. And some programs that both John and I run fairly successfully in our schools that probably 15 years ago we would have belly ached about and said was not real martial arts, and there's no way I'm doing it, and I'm not a babysitter. So we're also going to talk about that mindset a little bit and how, very often when we say things like that, we're actually projecting our own fears and inadequacies or fears of inadequacy. How about that? Because I think if you're watching this show, you're probably not an inadequate instructor. So while we got everybody logged on here, John, how was your weekend? How did things go?
It was good. We've got a black belt testing coming up, so
dum dum dum.
Yeah, I spent a good bit of the weekend doing privates with some of the black belts who are eligible to test. So, that extra little push and that nice extra little income as well.
All right. So how do you do privates? Because I got this question this weekend about how people do privates.
So I tailor it to their needs. I tell them that, they need to send me 24 hours in advance. They need to send me a list of what they need to work on and what they'd like to improve in, whatever the case may be. And I make sure that I record all my privates and they go home with that recording.
Oh, that's cool. That's a nice touch.
Yeah. So they come with their phone or their parents' phone or their iPad or whatever. I've got the tripod set up and we record everything. So as I'm fixing their stances or their technique or fixing the form or we're working on board breaking or, whatever the case is, it's always recorded. And the nice thing about that is in the past we did privates and then the parents will come and tell me like, I don't know, it seems like my child didn't get much out of the private, blah, blah, blah. And, parents will complain because unfortunately they don't sit and watch, right? And especially if they're paying big dollars. Roughly around, I don't know if it was about 2 years ago, once we put the blog up on our website regarding the importance of privates right before testing, I just decided to record it. That way, the blame never comes back on the instructor. So it works beautifully.
I used to use it a long time ago, and the app got really bad, so I stopped using it. But it came up in conversation in the Skillz group the other day that I used to use this app called the Coach's Eye, and it was all about it's like the old John Madden Telestrator, where you could pop up the video on the screen, scroll back and forth in slow motion, frame by frame, draw on it to show like, all right, watch your knee here and watch how it goes this way. And then you can actually post up a like if you had a standard video, this is what it should look like, this is what it does look like, and you could scrub them frame by frame and analyze. Nice. So we used to use it, but it got, as soon as they realized it was good, they started doing like pay for everything. And look, I don't mind paying for an app, but it was like, oh, you want to be able to fast forward? That's $1 a month. Oh, you want to be able to go in reverse? That's $1 a month. I was like, come on, really? So after that conversation last week, I actually found another app. It's called Huddle Technique, HUDL Technique. And it's the same thing. It lets you draw on the screen. So, I'm going to start using that in some of our privates or as we work with, like our storm team or our leadership, even my instructors. So I can really start to nitpick. And that way, maybe that's a way I'll use that is when we do private lessons, I'll send that video, that analysis video off to the student or the parent. And now they'll be able to see, oh, wow, look, you did cover some stuff.
Huddle, what now again? What's the name of the app?
It's Huddle, HUDL Technique. And I think it's on Android and Apple.
Yes. Oh, I see it.
And they have
Yeah,
a bunch of little sub apps and stuff you can get, and there is some pay for content on there, pay for features type of stuff, but
sure.
it doesn't seem to be as spammy as Coach's Eye got. And I
Okay.
just downloaded it, so I don't know the ins and outs of what's going to work and what isn't it, but it looks like it's going to be a good thing.
Yeah, it looks like there's a bunch of them: Huddle Sport, Huddle Technique, Huddle Focus. Yeah, I need to look into that.
Yeah, so something worth playing with. All right, so by now I think we've got some people watching here. So let's talk about our topic of the day. Oops, hold on, just sharing this one last time here. So we're talking about mini skills for the most part. And for those of you that are Skillz members, Mini Skillz is a program. It's designed as a mommy and me program, or we like to say guardian and me program, because we do have dads and grandmas, and even we've had nannies come in and do it.
Yep.
So it's a program designed for toddlers, 18 months to 36 months or so old. And I know a lot of the current wisdom, as we mentioned a little earlier, in the martial arts industry is that, we're not babysitters. You can't teach martial arts that young. Why am I going to waste my time doing this? I'm not here to change diapers and wipe noses. So we know that Skillz starts everything from a childhood development perspective and then lays in the martial arts. So I'm sure if I pulled my partner Heidi over here on camera, she would be, yeah, she just gave me the look. That was why I said if I were to pull. yeah, bad hair.
And at the same time, Skillz is not a technique-based training; it's a skill-based training.
Yeah.
So those are two things that martial art owners and martial art instructors confuse big time. I had 3 or 4 pre-Skillz conversations last week with some of the people in the pre-Skillz group, and they were just like, they're so confused. What's the difference between this and that?
Yeah, where do I teach my martial arts?
Yes.
So, if you look at the early Skillz and mini Skillz age groups, so toddlers and the preschoolers, the latest in educational research, what they're teaching in the teacher collegiate level programs, is that the highest level of impact that we can have is actually from the toddlers to the preschoolers. Mm-hmm. After that, it's all downhill with the level of impact that we can have.
Yep.
That seems backwards because you say, yeah, but in college I can teach the meaning of life in philosophy class and calculus and math class and blowing up stuff in chemistry class, and sometimes even blowing it up on purpose. But really the groundwork for a child's personality, for the way that they view education, for their social interactions, mostly happens at those really young ages. And if you guys got Jennifer's blog from last week, it was all about synaptic pruning and how, the kids at those young ages just have so much activity, just neurological connections, just left, right, center, everywhere it might be. Like their brain is like, squirrel, create a pathway.
Yeah.
And then as they get a little older, you start pruning those connections away to only the ones that are important.
I mean, when she was writing that blog and she was kind of giving me the rundown and all that stuff, I was like, when somebody talks to you and you're like, yeah, because when we're teaching class, we do this and this happens. Yeah, because when we're doing this drill, it's like, like for me, it was kind of like fulfilling that knowledge, fulfilling that piece of why things are done in the Skillz concept, the way it's done. And like, even though I've been with Skillz forever and a day, I mean, we've been with Skillz forever and a day, it's just like, whoa, this was like mind blowing for me.
And that's it. That highlights right there. Most of us spent 20 years learning how to do martial arts. Mm-hmm. How many of us spent any time learning how to teach? Not teach martial arts, just teach.
Yeah.
Heidi went for her degree in early childhood development and early childhood education. And one of the very first lessons was pretty much what that blog post was about. So, we have to sometimes take a step back and humble ourselves and recognize that we don't know everything.
Yep.
There's a ton of better out there. Now, we have a certain amount of experience in a certain genre. It's up to us to kind of figure out how the two go together. That's where the art form of teaching comes in. So mini Skillz, we've got these little kids out there. By the way, if you look down here and then over there.
Wait, wrong hand.
Yeah, everything's backwards, right? Can you pin the tail on the donkey backwards blindfolded? So that's our TikTok IDs. We're both on TikTok. Two old men farting around on TikTok. Well, John's older. I have more gray hair, so it's only fair. Guys, if you've not been on TikTok yet, get on it. It's a way to relate to both the parents and the info we're going to give you today. You're going to want to relate to parents. And you can relate to the kids on there. So it's a good way to be able to talk to your students. Also, TikTok is starting to rank very highly on Google for your SEO optimizing your video descriptions.
Now, guys, don't just go open up a TikTok account and post videos on there. Like, don't do the same videos that you would do on Facebook and Instagram. Okay?
Yeah, it's a different
TikTok,
kind of app here.
It's a different kind of app. It's a different type of world. Also, don't hashtag Atlanta Skillz. Don't hashtag 4GK martial arts. That's not going to get you anywhere. That's not going to get you the ranking that you want. You want to hashtag the opposite, okay? Because a lot of people are doing it the wrong way. So anyway, that can be a different show.
But yeah, we can do a whole show on TikTok. If you're on TikTok, though, make sure you follow us, and I'll be more than happy to follow you back.
If we get enough following on TikTok, here's a
hey, John, how many TikTok follows will it take for me to?
If we get enough followings, then we will come in and do an episode just on that. It is amazing, by the way.
And it's so easy.
Yeah.
It's so simple because it's so new. All right. Anyway, mini Skillz. So I'll leave those up for a couple minutes so you can get your phones out while we're chatting. Mini Skillz is a program that was specifically designed for the needs and abilities of kids between the ages of 18 months and 36 months old. There's two different ways that we use this program in my school. And John, I think we're similar. I think we've spoken about this. One is as an entry-level program, the same way we use any other martial arts program. Hey, you've got a kid, we've got a class, match made in heaven.
Yep.
The other way is when the kids come in for early Skillz, that 3- and 4-year-old class, and they're just not ready in one of their stages of development, maybe physically they're not quite ready, or emotionally or socially they're not quite ready. Mini Skillz now gives us an opportunity to have them work with us. We work with the parents work with them. So it's a whole big happy family. And now it gives us an opportunity to bring them into the school and very quickly give them the tools they need so they can thrive in the early Skillz program. So I no longer have to say, well, Mrs. Johnson, Johnny's not quite ready. Let's try again in 6 months. Now I get to say, well, Mrs. Johnson, little Johnny might not quite be ready for early Skillz. Why don't we start off in mini Skillz, and as soon as they're ready, we'll move them up. So I no longer have to turn away students.
I was going to say, you should never have to turn away students, ever, based on the I mean, there are times that's, let me reset.
All other things being equal, yes, we should turn them away because of our deficit.
Yes, exactly.
There are certainly a few that I've said, whoa.
Yep. No, same here. But that's like, say, 1 out of 20, 1 out of 30 students. For us, it's not like it's a high percentage. Okay. The one other thing that I love about the mini Skillz, Mike, is the fact that I can introduce those parents to parenting skills and really get them to become our antelopes at that young age. You know what I mean? Because they're new at parenting. They don't have the experience like we have, and being able to help them with parenting skills, like, it really blows their mind, because again, those kids don't know how to express themselves, right? So parenting skills comes in like a pot of gold for those parents.
Yeah, and we found, and I don't know if this is true across the board, but we found that most of the parents that we have in mini Skillz, not all of them, but most of them tend to be first-time parents.
Yes.
So they don't always have the parenting skills, or even know that they're lacking the parenting skills. So running parent skills alongside mini skills is so natural. And really what happens is it's not a separate course anymore. It's not like, hey, you should also for 1995.
Yep.
Because we are in mini skills leading the class, but the parents are proctoring the drills and they are doing the milestones. We are simply moderating, right?
Yes.
And encouraging and telling them what to look for. So it's a natural conversation when something is going a little awry. Hey, mom, I noticed you're having a little trouble here. Let's do this. And now I use the parent skills on top of it. It becomes a really powerful, you become a source of like parenting wisdom for them that they can practice real time. Yeah. How many times have you given advice, John? You say, hey, you should try this parent skill thing. And they come back a week later and they're like, hey, how did it go? Oh, well, I just forgot to do it, or I didn't get a chance, or, the opportunity. Now you're providing the information saying, all right, now let's try it.
Yes. It's like on-hand experience.
Yeah. You ever watch that show, Super Nanny?
I did.
Heidi binge watches that show.
Yeah.
Super Nanny?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, having that hands-on experience at the moment when they're acting out, or, they decide to be the toddlers that they really are, it's very powerful. You become this highly qualified, instructor without having that degree. Well, you've earned your degree by doing all the researches and reading all the blogs. And I still get the question, how do you know so much about Skillz?
So look, I had the benefit, and I mean, I do have a college degree, but it is not in this.
Me too.
So here's two things to think about. First, in the university experience, your instructors do not have to have a degree in what they are teaching you. They only have to have a degree higher than the program they are teaching. For example, when I went to college, we took, it was a basic, like a personal hygiene class, preparing us for being in a clinical environment. And we had, we'll call him Dr. Smith. We had Dr. Smith was our instructor. And about halfway through the semester, we found out that Dr. Smith had nothing to do with the clinical environment. He had a doctorate in engineering. But he was allowed to teach in a healthcare environment because he had a higher degree than he was teaching. Same thing. Now, do most colleges want people in the same field? Absolutely. So keep in mind that a degree itself does not necessarily mean what you think it means. The second part is, for the Heidi's college degree, years of training, there was maybe 12 credit hours of actual hands-on nitty-gritty.
Yep.
The rest of it was math, English, social studies, anthropology, which was all beneficial, but don't sell yourself short just because you don't have a degree. Sell yourself short if you're not doing your own research, but don't sell yourself short because you don't have a degree.
Yep. I mean, look how Skillz became about. I mean, just that alone is phenomenal.
So if you guys are teaching toddlers, by the way, in whatever format, just let us know, because we'd be interested to hear feedback and get you into the conversation a little bit.
Yeah, put a baby face in the comment.
Baby face, there you go. So let's talk about what happens in the class. John, I know you run a good mini skills program there. So like, what does your class look like just in general? If I was a parent coming in, or maybe a new instructor coming to visit your school, I wanted to see just like, what's this thing you're advertising? What is it?
So, I mean, I know we've talked about this before. Our studio's designed with a lot of thought that was put into it, right? So that room where we teach the mini skills class is designed to be mini skills friendly, okay? It's designed where the kid, like even our 3 and 4 year olds, as soon as they get there, can I go in the room and run? Can I go in the room and play? Like the excitement of being on the floor is there. So we've got it set up, especially depends on the drill that we're teaching for the day. We have it set up in a way that they want to get and run and play and do what they're supposed to do. We've got the tumbling mats. We've got the cheese wedge. We've got the floor air mats. So we've got it where they can hop, play, jump, do exactly what we need to have them do. Okay. And, making sure that there is nothing there at all, where they would remotely get hurt by pulling on a cord or pulling on something.
Yeah, that environmental safety. I mean, you got to get down on your hands and knees. And that was something actually our pediatrician told us when my daughter was born. Like, you think your place is baby proof?
Yeah.
Go get down on your hands and knees and look again, because you see things from that level, and then have your mom come through, because your mom's not going to be afraid to tell you, like, yeah, Johnny, what are you doing? Is that what your mom sounds like? Yeah, I don't
No.
So what about, when we picture a martial arts class, we picture kids lined up on dots, being all disciplined, yes sir, no sir, but an 18-month doesn't even speak human.
No.
So what does this class look like? If I was watching it, what am I going to see?
You're going to see the most organized chaos you could possibly see.
That's exactly how I describe it.
You know what I mean? It's the most organized chaos you can possibly see, but yet the laughter, the fun, and just the joy of, seeing a parent and the children connected, that's absolutely amazing.
I definitely tell people it's the cutest class in the school. I don't teach it. I am not the right instructor for that class.
I teach it when I have to.
I could teach it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm just not the best instructor for it. Heidi is like, blows me away. So why am I not going to have her do it? But I love sitting in the office, or sometimes I go out into the parents' area there, out in, you've seen my school, out in the chairs right next to the mat. And I'll just sit and do my work out there, because the giggles that come off that floor just make me feel good.
Yeah. I love it. And just to warn you guys, the giggles and the laughter and the fun happens in the first 20 minutes of class. The last 10 minutes, that's when they start getting a little squirmy or antsy, or they're based on their stage of development, they're already done, right? So this is when you got to be absolutely creative and follow the instructions, step-by-step process. Okay.
Yeah, I think this is where a certain amount of instructor talent comes in. With any system, you still have to have a talented person running. So, we had somebody from one of the other local Skillz schools come down and watch Heidi last weekend. And, the discussion is great, because we get the question, like, how come it says 3 drills, but it's a shorter class, but every other one has 2 drills? And you need to have one in your pocket, because some days these kids are going to come in and you're going to do your first drill for all 30 minutes. That's all they want to do. Some days you're going to run the drill once and they're going to go, nope. And you're going to have to keep trying. So you need a couple drills in your pocket. You're going to get a little balance, and that's where you run a 2 drill class.
I like to explain that class as a Montessori concept.
Yes.
Okay. So yes, there's drills in place. Yes, there are skills in place. Yes, there are planners in place. Okay. Those are guides for us. Those are what's helping us, right? Now, I'm ready. And because there's 8 skills, so right now we're currently teaching that class once a week.
Yeah, so do we.
So we do
twice a week. We found it just a little bit much, especially because we service more new parents and they're a little scattered, and it just worked.
And again, we did it in a way that, of course, there was no way for some of the parents to say no, but we'll talk about that later from the entrepreneurial side.
Sorry.
So every class we're teaching 2 skills. And because every skill has so many planners, I always have those 2 skills that I want to teach, okay? And I've got drill 1 from this skill, drill 2 from this skill, right? But I also have another 2 drills that are ready to go.
Yeah.
Just in case. You never know.
Yeah. And I think one thing to consider there in that same concept is we have this expectation of what we want our martial arts students to look like. And not so much in Skillz style schools, even if you're not a Skillz member, but if you're following this, usually you're kind of in the same mindset. But what you see is that unfair expectation of, all right, now you're a martial arts student, act like this. You can do that with an adult. You can even do that with some of your 7, 8-year-olds. When it comes to mini skills, you have to consider that you are about to take a 1.5 year journey that consists of half of that child's life to get them where they're now ready to start martial arts.
Yep. Do me a favor.
So you have to temper your expectations a little bit.
Could you pull up my TikTok account? And I don't know if you can do it on the screen or not.
Hold on. I'll carry the conversation and I'll try that for a sec.
So what Mike is going to pull up is this one kid that we have. By the way, he's 1 out of 4 kids. Okay. And he started out with us, 4 kids who started out with us in the mini Skillz. By the way, we've had more than 4 kids in the mini Skillz, just to clarify my speech right now. I need coffee. He's the one that loves to come to our Saturday morning all kids, all rank classes. He just enjoys that class. He's 4 years old and he's currently in the basic program. Okay. It is, if you're there, it's the push-up one.
All right. So I just found, so let me pull this up on the screen here. I want to share my screen.
He started with us at 18 months old. He graduated out of the mini Skillz program. This is how powerful the mini Skillz program is, because a lot of people like, oh, it's watered down, I don't want to babysit or whatever. He graduated out of that program. That second one, I don't know if you can click on it, Michael, and actually
make it a little bigger. This one.
Yes. Look at him. Look at that guy. I mean, 4 years old, right?
That's awesome.
4 years old. And then, but wait, there is more. Watch him. He just turned 4 at the end of January. So all that happened while he was in between the early mini Skillz into the early Skillz. I couldn't keep him in early Skillz anymore. So
yeah, probably definitely an anomaly going on there. But like, this is where we get kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
By the time, one thing that we have to understand is wherever kids are, we have to meet them there, especially in mini and early Skillz. And then we have to create an anomaly. By the time you're done with a Skillz program, we want you to be in the top 10% of your stages of development, which makes you an anomaly, even if you didn't start there. You know, with mini Skillz, you'll see that most kids will probably actually be anomalous in one area, because they are, you know, like we mentioned in the beginning and with Jen's blog, they are forming neurological connections so quickly. They are reinforcing them with emotional connections that they don't even understand yet. That's kind of formulating what they'll like, what they won't like, what their concepts of effort are. So it's not uncommon to have a child in your mini Skillz class that is completely ready in one aspect for a higher program. I think the pitfall that we all kind of fall into is you see, oh, wow, this kid is super smart, I'm going to move him up. But he can't hang physically, or he can't hang emotionally, you know, that more ephemeral kind of development that you don't always look at. This happens a lot in traditional martial arts, where you say, oh, I got this 6-year-old, but he's 5'9", so I'm going to move him in with my adults. He's not ready any other way. He just happens to be really tall.
Yeah, no. I mean, if they're not meeting, for me, if they're not 100% meeting 3 out of the 4 stages, and with maybe an 80% on that last stage, I'm not moving them up. I mean, this kid right here is already grasping on forms, multi-directional forms like there is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. And the other kids that graduated out of the mini Skillz into the early Skillz are doing the same thing. Like
he's in our early Skillz program, and
they're able to see it.
He's way above the stage of
so I'm going to pop this one up. So this is actually early Skillz, not mini Skillz. But this is Tony Botch. Tony Botch started in mini Skillz, right? So now he's
that
in
out. Isn't
early
that awesome?
skills,
High five.
and what you're seeing here is he's just running
Hold on,
a
hook me up
drill,
too.
but he's 3.
So here's what
He's
makes that
punching
really cool.
across the center line.
Kids
Yes.
don't
Feel
really
you
develop
stay.
the ability to cross the
Most
center line of their
kids,
body.
so if we talk
or
about
to
the bell
really
curve, we're talking about the
differentiate between
50%
left and
on
right
either side
till they're
of the middle.
about 5 years
Most
old, 6 years
kids
old, which is when the corpus
don't
callosum
develop
in
that
your brain
ability to punch
connects
across
the
the
two
center
halves of your
line,
brain.
right? Like
So
we
through
would
skills
work
training,
focus mitts
he's been able to
until they're around
step himself
5 or
up.
so.
In fact, I would
I
probably
think
put
4 and
him
a
in the top
half,
10%
early
of his
6,
development when it comes
and
to
it's a
left
physical
and right.
development
I
thing
think
in
that's
their
pretty
brain
cool.
where the corpus
That was all
callosum
about
is the
his
piece that
success.
connects all the pieces of the
Hi
brain,
guys,
the
what's
two
going
halves
on?
and
This is
everything.
Mr. Robert
For them to be
here,
able
awesome
to
20
think,
bucks.
What's
or
up?
that's why
He's in our
kids that
early
young
skills
usually
program,
can't
and he
read
already
because their
knows
eyes
his left
can't
and his right
scan
skills.
across
Way
like
above the
that.
stage of development and an awesome
20
day.
watches
Are you
4.
ready?
Okay.
Ready? Hands up.
But he's already, without even hesitation, able to punch across, have good detail in his technique.
Check that
So
out. Isn't that awesome?
he didn't
High five,
start
dude.
that way.
Hold on,
You
hook me
know,
up too.
He started off as just a giggly
So
little
here's-
kid, just doing his thing and laughing. But now he's still smiling in that video.
Mhm.
He was able to do things that I would not expect of a typical child. Because of the training that he had in mini skills, he is above most entry-level early skills kids. And if we extrapolate that, if he's going to keep training, and he is, because he's my nephew and I'll kick my sister's butt, right?
You just give away the secret. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right? It's genetics. But if he keeps going with that, imagine the ripples that that's going to have through his martial arts career versus if he just started at 10 years old when he spoke English and could do a horse dance and could stand there and shut up.
Yep.
So mini skills is what allowed him to be able to do that so far ahead of the curb of what he's, expected to be able to do.
And the beauty of those classes is zero pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Zero pressure on the parents, zero pressure on the child. It is having fun. It's learning. It is, again, it's a game-based concept, but like when their mind and their body just strengthens together intellectually and physically, right? And then, again, like in class, they have to learn how to share. They have to be, socially okay to be around other kids. And a couple of the kids that age, they don't have siblings, right? So they don't understand what sharing is. So like they really grow perfectly in the skills world, right?
So that's a great point. Like, you don't learn about sharing in that environment. And even when you are, the lesson that you usually get about sharing is, I have this cool thing and I love it. And then mom says that I have to share it, so she takes it away from me.
Mm-hmm.
Sharing is now a negative thing.
Yeah.
So in mini skills, sharing is actually one of our skills. We get to teach them the positive aspects of sharing. That, and also that sometimes it's appropriate to not have to share. It's okay to not share if you do it in the right way. But
Yep.
these are like now proactive ways of teaching this in a positive way.
So, we're talking right here about the mini skills program and how the mini skills like classes really benefit some of the younger children, right? So that's from a teacher perspective. How about entrepreneurial? How about
All right, so entrepreneurial, this is the single easiest class in the entire school to teach. And when I say that, you got to do your planning, and it's not
Yes.
like, all right, I'm just going to run this class and it's going to work and I'm going to make $1 million. It does require that you still do your due diligence and you still have to have the expertise. But as far as like physical effort and even mental and emotional effort in class,
zero?
minimal, really minimal. Because when the child is running around, that's okay. I expect it and I encourage it because they're exploring their environment. And if it becomes disruptive, mom is there to deal with it.
I actually did a post, I can't remember how, it's probably been around a year ago, about the mini skills program, because somebody posted about, not being a babysitter. And I did a video, I don't know if you remember or not, a video of our mini skills with, there was about 5 or 6 kids in the class and all that stuff. And it is absolutely amazing how well they listen, right? But, at the end of the day, you're going to make money no matter what. If you have one kid signed up for mini Skillz, and you're charging $75 a month for one class per week. By the way, don't undersell yourself. Some people are probably hearing like $75 for 30 minutes one day a week. Wow, that's it? Or that's a lot. People are not going to buy into that. People pay more for Gymboree and for my little gym and for classes like that.
So you were around for my rant about a week ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my competition, and I know exactly which Skillz member is going to disagree with me on this one, and I love you anyway. But my competition is not the other martial arts schools in town. Why? Because I do not teach martial arts. I'm a childhood development center. My competition is the Montessori school down the road, the Huntington Learning Center, the Kumon. What does the Montessori school down the road charge? Upwards of $2,000 to $3,000 a month.
Easy.
And I'm afraid to charge how much for my mini Skillz?
Yeah, $75 a month.
When I have the same amount of training. I have probably a program that's even better than theirs, because while I do love the Montessori concept, I think me personally, I think it strays a little too far towards freeform. But why are we afraid to charge $60 for something that's going to really look? Early childhood development is the most powerful, or early childhood education is the most powerful time in which to educate a child.
I mean, I fear that the fear is the lack of knowledge. I did this post in pre-Skillz last week about research and know what you're getting yourself into, right? And a lot of us, we dismiss things because we don't want to spend the extra time researching it, even though it's going to make you money. Like I said, if you have one kid sign up for mini Skillz, right, and you're charging $75 a month, and even let's say your highest paid instructor, you're paying them $20 to $25 an hour. It's a 30-minute class. You're still going to make money. Now, depending on who you're going to have teaching that class, right? So, you're going to pay your instructors, say, $10 for the 30 minutes.
Well, let's say, all right, so let's do like nice round numbers here. So let's say we pay our instructor $20 an hour.
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to multiply that times half an hour. We're going to multiply that times 4.33, because that's how many weeks there are in a month.
Yeah.
So I'm paying my instructor $43 for the month. Let's say I do $5 of marketing for this one program, $10 of marketing for this one program, because really across the board, that's probably what I'll spend on a single program of marketing, not including like my other marketing efforts, but just that. So even if you're spending $45 on an instructor, $15 on marketing the program each month, one student still covers it.
Yes.
And at a certain point, that student is going to be primed, ready, and excited to move up into your early Skillz program.
And if you do it well enough, that one parent of that one student will be out there, bringing people in to do the class.
And we've found that the mini Skillz students stick around longer, and they allow me to charge more money across the board, because if you look at a class full of 3-year-olds, you're going to see some crazy stuff. You look at a class full of 3-year-olds that came up from mini Skillz, you're going to say, that's what I want my class to look like.
Exactly.
So I'm kind of cheating a little bit by seeding my class with, little balls of awesomeness.
Hey, I mean, you can do it the smart way. You can do it the hard way. For us, by the way, just to let you guys know, our model works best Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. at the same time that we're running our early Skillz class. Just in case you have that one family that has a 3 or a 4-year-old and has an 18-month-old at the same time.
Yeah, and if you don't have a multiple training floor concept, even if you do, one of the things that we suggest is talk to the parents in your area, because there are going to be some norms and then there are going to be some local differences. And here's what I mean by that. The norms are most toddlers have a nap schedule in their day.
Yes.
We do not want to have class just before a nap. You will have a tiny little monster biting your ankle off as they cry boogers on your freshly pressed uniform. You do not want to have class directly after nap time because it'll be twice as bad. You want to be far enough after nap time so they've woken up, the cortisol in their system has had a chance to flush out. Perhaps they've had a snack, so now they are fueled and energetic, but digested a little bit. For us, we found that nap times happened, their mid-morning naps were around 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. So we run our class at 11:45, and it works perfectly for us. Now, the local variation might be, what is the overall culture of your community as far as when is mom getting up or dad getting up? You know, what times are work schedules around you? You know, what else is going on in your community that might demand different time frames? So 9 o'clock in the morning is a good one because the child has woken up for the day, had breakfast, and is fresh, ready to go. The 11:45 for us works. The next time slot I would maybe do would be like a mid-afternoon, early to mid-afternoon, not too late, because now you're getting into that 3:30 nap time. So ask your parents what time nap time is and then base it around that. Rule of thumb. It's not guaranteed, but it's a good rule of thumb.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some people ask, you know, how come you don't offer the mini Skillz class right before your regular martial arts classes? It's just not a good time for the kids, to be honest with you. It's not a good time for that age group. And it takes away from like the 3 and 4, the early Skillz kids. So Saturday, we've tried them all, by the way. Saturday morning, 9 a.m. for us is that perfect. Now, we played with the different time frames, so you guys have to do the same thing for your area.
Exactly. And this is one of those, just like you have to be ready on the training floor, like we were talking about the teaching aspect of it, to pivot, it's going to take a little bit of streamlining, finding out what is the best time for your clientele, for your kids, which also raises another interesting point. When we started the Mini Skillz program, we had a really hard time getting people into it, only because they didn't realize that they were looking for it. We didn't have the market did not understand that it was the market. So we had to spend probably the first 3 months educating people that something like this was even available. You know, if you have a 5 and 6 year old program, moms and dads of 5 and 6 year olds are looking for something to get their kids' energy out in a positive, creative way. A toddler mom or a toddler parent or grandparent or whomever does not necessarily think like, oh, little Johnny went poop on the potty today, let's sign him up for martial arts class. It's just, it doesn't quite fit. So you have to spend a little time doing a lot of content marketing, leveraging the kids you already have in your school. You know, like if I had 2 floors and early Skillz was going on and little Johnny's little brother Timmy was being a little rambunctious and I had a spare instructor hanging around,
well, yeah,
Timmy, you want to come on the other training floor and hang out a little bit?
Yeah.
And I would Mini Skillz the snot out of that kid, probably literally, because there's boogers everywhere. You're afraid of boogers? Don't run this program. That's my disclaimer. Hey, good morning, Gavin. Well, it's afternoon, right? Yeah, afternoon. It's probably evening for you. Man, you get me so confused.
There's 6 hours ahead of us.
Yeah, there we go. You know, so a big part of this program is from the marketing just as much as the teaching is education, right? We have to teach parents how to teach their kids. We have to teach parents that they should look for this for their kids. So the blog posts, if you're a Skillz member, you've got web content, blog posts. You can copy anything that I do, and I'm sure John will let you copy because I copy most of John's stuff too.
It's I mean, all of us copy all of Jennifer's stuff. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
The other thing, that came to mind as well, which got it. If you don't want to go around this the long way, don't sell that program as session based. Sell it as a regular program, monthly payment. We realized that the session based program, it was come, try, quit. Like they didn't take that pride into the program.
Interesting reverse psychology thing, because we originally did session based with the idea being moms aren't going to want to buy in long term. And by the way, I'm just going to keep saying moms. Understand that I mean any guardian or parent.
Mm-hmm.
Moms aren't going to want to buy into a long-term program or a monthly program because of the connotation that my child is 18 months. They're going to change their mind. So let's do session-based. And it seemed so much easier, and it seemed to make sense. You buy it, you're with it, good. Turns out many first-time parents are not ready to dump a bunch of money into an 8 or 10 or 12-week program, sight unseen, not knowing anything about childhood development beyond what they read in Dr. Spock. And they actually preferred the monthly. Mm-hmm. And yeah, some people come and go, and but that's okay too.
But session-based feels like, session-based feels like you don't belong. You know what I mean? Like it's just a session, right?
You bought a product.
Exactly. You bought a product. Where monthly, the feeling of doing it monthly, you're part of the family. For some reason, they connect better. They feel the sense of belonging.
And the other thing that goes with that, like there is a ranking system for mini Skillz if you choose to use it. We chose not to use it simply because when you're looking across 8 different skills for the milestones, kids may be at a 3-year-old level for stepping and a 1-year-old level for listening or following. Yes. So we found that it was a little harder to use something as standardized as a belt. So, when you have a belt system, it's very easy to say, okay, you got to here, here's your next goal. Mm-hmm. And you got to here, here's your next goal. When you're just selling something that's a session, it's you got to here, the end of the session, now you're done.
What? Yeah, then what?
Whereas when you say it's a monthly ongoing thing, I am going to consistently, look, you can't raise a child overnight. Right? Men take 40 years longer than women to raise. So how am I going to say in 8 weeks that I'm going to make your child this wonderful, beautiful thing?
Oh my God, you're killing me today, man.
This is my
job. The other thing that I like to add is whether I'm teaching a class or Jennifer Randalls is teaching the class, we like to point out constantly their milestones, what they've able, you know what I mean? So because sometimes parents are oblivious to how their kids are like advancing, right?
Yeah.
And when we tell them, hey, do you remember the first time we did this? When we did the somersault or the flips or the jumping or the stepping, remember how they struggled? Look at them now. They're like, yeah, that's right. So even though we don't have a belt system, be very mindful of those milestones.
Having the milestones themselves, the objective measures, is also really important. In mini Skillz, we have a set of objective measures that are based on kind of that 50th percentile of what a child at each stage should be able to do. Because and I'm a parent. As a parent, very often, raising your child is not a proactive activity for many people, for most of us, I would say. It's, you're raising your child because you fed them, you got their lunch together, they're off to school, you got home, you're doing laundry, you're cooking dinner, you're doing So really the times when you take the most notice of your child is when you get the note home from teacher.
Yeah.
Whether it's bad or good, so it's the peaks and the valleys that you notice. You tend not to notice here. The problem with that is that your anxiety doesn't recognize that. Your parental anxiety of, am I doing a good job? Is my child going to be okay when they grow up? That stays up here all the time because you're only noticing the peaks and the valleys. Mm-hmm. So when you can take a parent through this program as well, excuse me, and you're objectively measuring and showing that it's not, you have a good child, you have a bad child. that look at your child is going up and up and up and up. It's the same discussion we have with business owners when we talk about success. Success is not up here. Success is kind of here, and then you kind of spiral higher.
The other thing that I love about the mini Skillz is the fact that when we're teaching the class, we're always letting the parents know to praise their kids, right? Because as parents, and I'm guilty, like when my kids were growing up, I realized that if they did something good, it was like it's almost expected for them to do something good. We didn't praise them for doing something good, right? But the minute they did something wrong, man, it was war, right? And unfortunately, that's how we parent. Like, we're not paying close attention to the good behavior. We're always focusing on the bad behavior. Mini Skillz really focuses on the parent part of that as well. So the parents are always rewarding their kids with the happy feeling, happy thoughts, hugs, that things that they really need at that age.
Yeah. So we know that, when we lead a parenting lifestyle like that, encouraging, supportive, coddling when it needs to be, that kids actually end up with higher levels of self-esteem, higher levels of confidence. They become more exploratory because they know if it goes wrong, they have somebody to fall back on. Mm-hmm. When we have that expectation of just do it right, get out there and do it, we're trying to get them to be more confident, but what happens is now they fear to fail because they know you're already angry because they're not doing it perfectly. You're going to be more angry when they're having a problem and they don't have that safety net, so they never chance to fly, right? The other part of it is that we know that kids build a lot of their decision-making that carries through all the way to adulthood, not based on logic, but based on emotion. Mm-hmm. And what happens is, for example, maybe a child comes into our school and we have Annabeth at our school, and Annabeth growls. If you don't know who Annabeth is, that's our dog, not one of our instructors. Annabeth maybe growls at that child, and the child has a negative emotional response. The child now on the training floor doesn't do as well any other day after that. They don't know why, but it's the negative experience that they had here once negatively impacts the logical part that happens out there. So they quit. 12 years later, they have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever, and they go to meet the parents for the first time, and they walk in and the parents have a cat. And it negatively affects the relationship in that household now as you're trying to meet this new family. You don't know why. And I'm not even making this up. Stuff like this happens. You don't know why until you go to a therapy session and realize that the cat's fuzzy. The dog used to be fuzzy. The dog gave you a negative experience. So now you're projecting that onto the cat. So when we run mini Skillz, that praise is so important. Mm-hmm. Because now emotionally, not even up here, but emotionally in our downstairs brain, in our guts, right? The child at a very young age associates trying with emotional support. Even failure becomes parental love. So that's something now that they'll carry through to when they decide to become an entrepreneur or a doctor or even the bum on the corner. Whatever they become, they're going to have that sense of, all right, I'm a bum on the corner, but I know I can be better because I love learning. So that is really, really important in this class. We try not to ever negatively correct these kids.
We shouldn't really have any negative impact in that class at all. Like they just don't understand things.
Even by accident. Like we try to be pretty positive with all of our classes, but with this class, it's even more important. One misplaced little interaction can shut them down.
Absolutely.
So
it happens to adults. So, and you don't feel great about it if you're in that situation. So you shouldn't do it to kids, period.
Yeah. And that's the big debate in the martial arts right now, right?
It is. It
Which
is.
way is better to get the kids to be able to be resilient, to be powerful, to stand up for themselves?
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I have lost more students in the past by inflicting the authoritative, martial art concept that is designed for the adult.
And I'll bet you, just like I used to, you said, they're just not ready for what I have to bring.
We all did. We all did. Yeah. Guilty as charged. Absolutely. Absolutely. Where right now it's like I take the time to step outside of the classroom, educate the parent on what just happened. And now they're like, wow, I'm so glad you said that. You know what I mean? I'm so glad you pointed it that way. And the kids are ready to come back to class. They don't feel embarrassed. They don't feel guilty, whatever the case may be, whatever the situation may be.
Yeah, as they get older, I mean, I know we're talking more about the younger kids, but once kids have been with you for a while, half the time they come to you to tell you how they're correcting themselves because of what they did wrong.
Yeah.
As soon as you look at the kid that forgot his belt and you go to say, where's your belt? You go to take that breath in and they go, Sifu, I forgot my belt. It wasn't my mom's fault. I didn't put it where it was supposed to be. And I'll make sure that,
ownership.
I'm not angry at them. I'm just coaching them to be mindful, to follow through, to pay attention to detail, to be more organized, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So now we just start that at a much younger age. All right. So mini skills, if you guys want to get into a program like this, mini skills is done for you. We're not going to come teach it. You're going to have to do some work. But, it's a done for you platform.
We can.
We can.
It's just going to cost you like a pretty penny.
Yeah. I don't work for $20 an hour as an instructor.
No.
No. But you can take this program. We have it available at both a silver and a bronze member. Bronze is just a bunch of drills. If you want to try to figure it out for yourselves, have at it. But if you really want a done for you program, so we said one student will cover your instructor for the program. 2 to 3 more students will cover your membership, and everything after that
gravy
is gravy. And this is a program you could run during the day when everybody else is in school, because these little kids are not in school.
Yes.
So if you want that, hit one of us up. We'll show you how to get it. We'll walk you through the platform a little bit and show you what's involved and what you get with it. If you're already running mini skills, I know Victoria over there in the UK is putting together her mini skills program, and I'm seeing a lot of interest in it from her local parents. Yes, I stalk all of you that are members. So it's available out there. If you're already getting into it and you want a little help getting it started or taking it to the next level, please. How often does the expert beg you to come get help? Right? Yeah. Please step up so we can do better.
We still do down payments just like the other programs. We do everything, but on a milder level.
Yep. Yeah, we can show you how to make it a very profitable, easy to run, and impactful program in your school. If you're over there in the UK and you're watching, hit up Gavin and Jackson. They can run you through some of it. If you want ins and outs of the details, again, let one of us know so we can take you through it.
Yep.
I have one last shameless plug to put back up here. Oh, there we go.
MegaCon.
So you've heard all about it. Some of you have enrolled in it. The rest of you, make sure you get on it, because what Melody just posted, the rooms are halfway sold out or something like that. I didn't read the exact number, but
I didn't read the post yet, so I don't know.
Yeah. I skimmed it earlier this morning. Oh, and right there,
TikTok,
and right
TikTok.
there. Man, I'm getting good at this.
Wait, wrong hand.
Yeah. Wait, no. More towards the other way. Other way. There.
Oh, wait.
Too far.
So backwards.
This is going to be a drill. How to do backwards video. Right?
Yes.
There we go. Ready? If you want to be a black belt backwards video pointer, there we go. Right there.
Yeah. This is backwards. Because of the delay, you don't even get it in time. So
Yeah. All right. Well, $50 rule. If you weren't here to help, it's going to cost you $50 to criticize. So there. All right, guys. So that's it. Mini Skillz. If you're not running it, look into it. It'll make a huge impact in your community and in your school.
Yep.
All right.
Yes.
Mr. Slama.
Mr. Evans.
I will chat with you, I'm sure, over the next couple days.
Yeah, in the next few seconds, I'm sure.
I'm sure. I'm sure. All right, guys. Go get it.
Peace out, guys. Have an awesome week.